Fortnite is still a massive game and has done well to withstand the challenge of other Battle Royale video games like Apex Legends. While many players have jumped ship, Fortnite is still the most popular game in the world, but like any video game, it's not without its issues. There are many things wrong with the game that players like us choose to ignore. So today, we're going to put some of these problems in the spotlight once again. When Fortnite Battle Royale was introduced, the building feature was unlike anything we've ever seen. Its main competition at the time, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, also known as PUBG, didn't have a similar feature, which allowed Fortnite to really carve its own path. Over time, building has become key in Fortnite. Building a wall, a ramp, or even a roof can be the difference between survival and death. Even if you can't aim if your life depended on it, you can quickly build 4 walls and a ramp around you to defend yourself. By building, you're most likely going to come out on top in this situation, even if you're against one of the most accurate players out there. If you're more of a marksman than a builder, you'll become very frustrated when these less skilled players take you out by shooting you from the top of their 4-story 1x1 tower. Luck is everything in Fortnite. You may land at the same spot as someone, but they find a legendary pump shotgun while you have a white pistol. Yeah, you're not going to win that gunfight, and it was no fault on your own. Your opponent just got lucky. As you can see, one of the most crucial points in the game is right at the beginning where you decide where to land. If you're not the only one who landed at a spot and you get bad loot, your game will be over before you know it. Bye-bye, Victory Royale. Now, of course, this is a problem in all BR games, not just Fortnite, but it could be solved by having areas with lower tier loot and higher tier loot like in Apex Legends. That way, certain areas will become hotspots that guarantee good loot from the get-go, while other places will have less players but worse loot. It really balanced things out. Right now, loot in Fortnite is completely randomized, and while some areas have more loot than others, there aren't any that give better loot than others. It's completely random, and there's no way to predict where to find decent weapons and items to secure your Victory Royale. In Fortnite, there are many ways to go about earning a Victory Royale. You could be aggressive and drop a 20 bomb, or you could pick and choose your fights, or you could camp in a bush until you're one of the final 2 and try to get a lucky kill to win it all. Yep, nothing's more frustrating than getting sniped by a bush camper who had no eliminations up to that point and finishing second. Again, camping isn't just an issue in Fortnite, but all Battle Royale games, and even all first-person shooters, but in BR games, it's supposed to be difficult to survive and be the last one standing. Fortnite makes it possible for players to camp in bushes and buildings and wait for the right time to strike. Sure, it's a legit strategy, but it's not one we like to see. For starters, it's just no fun at all, and secondly, it's just really lame. Stop camping! This makes being aggressive and getting kills feel unrewarding when a camper could just come in and earn a Victory Royale with 1 elimination. The only good news is that campers typically have awful loot, so if you could spot them first, you'll most likely be able to take them out with ease. While the Fortnite map has gone through plenty of changes, it's still the same original foundation from Season 1. Yes, we got the desert biome in Season 5 and even the snow biome in Season 7, but they're a part of the same original map. PUBG has 2 maps, so why haven't Epic Games added another map to Fortnite, huh? A game of Fortnite is so fast-paced and a round can be over in just a few minutes. So after thousands of games, we want to see something new. There are plenty of islands in the distance around the Fortnite map, so maybe one of those could be turned into a new one? Don't get us wrong, we don't have a problem with Fortnite's map. In fact, we think it's awesome, but variety is never a bad thing, and having multiple maps to play on would make things much more interesting. We don't think we'd ever get bored of Fortnite if there were multiple maps. Epic Games could at least add older maps from previous seasons of Fortnite. We'd love to go back to Season 1 or Season 2 map and just bathe in all that nostalgia, but it seems like that's nothing but a pipe dream. At the end of the day, Epic Games wants to make money, and with a game as popular as Fortnite, it makes sense to have an item shop with new cosmetics almost every day. The problem is that some of these cosmetics will set you back $20 real, which is absolutely ludicrous. Whether we like it or not, video games seem to be trending towards being more like mobile games. We're seeing a lot of free games entering the market with overpriced cosmetics that have no effect on in-game performance, which is true, but they always get you with some sort of pass that you could buy, which gives you cosmetics just for playing the game and completing challenges. It makes it feel like these cosmetics are free, but you have to spend real money to get in-game currency to buy the Battle Pass, so it really isn't. Tricky. Now sure, buying one Battle Pass in Fortnite and getting it to Tier 100 will give you enough V-Bucks to get the next one for free, but they still got you on the first Battle Pass you bought, so their money was made anyway. Epic Games knows exactly what they're doing. Sticking with cosmetics, legendary skins are some of the most awesome-looking skins in all of Fortnite. But what's interesting about them is that, since Season 5, you've actually been able to upgrade some of these skins. Back in Season 5, you had to reach a certain level to upgrade your legendary skins, but since then, you had to get a certain amount of XP to unlock the next tier of the skin. It could be anything from an extra piece of clothing to a new color option. All that sounds fine and dandy, until you take a look at how much XP you need to reach the next tier of the skin. It starts off completely achievable for the first 2 tiers or so, before there's a huge jump from then on to fully upgrade the skin. Each tier pretty much doubles the amount of the next, and it could literally take months for players to fully upgrade a skin. Now luckily, you don't have to do it all in one season, but you still have to play hundreds of hours to fully upgrade these legendary skins. We get it, Epic Games wants you to play Fortnite, but casual players should be able to fully upgrade these skins too. We love the fact that Epic Games makes weekly updates to Fortnite. It's a great idea that keeps the game fresh and interesting all the time. But sometimes these updates were better left in the vaults. We've seen some very creative features introduced to Fortnite like the shopping cart, guided missile, and glider redeploy. But oftentimes, these additions completely change the game for the worse. The shopping cart caused a glitch that would eliminate everyone in the game besides the one doing the glitch, giving them an easy victory royale. The guided missile was ridiculously OP and lasted way too long before exploding. Being able to redeploy your glider anytime in the core 3 game modes was a terrible decision that made third-partying a breeze. And these were just 3 examples. Don't even get us started on those planes or the Infinity Blade. We can go on about those for hours. Thankfully, all of these things were removed from the game, but we don't understand why they're getting put in the first place. There's clearly a bit of disconnect between Epic Games and the community. Or maybe they should just test things out first in an LTM. Yeah, maybe it's just that. One of the issues Fortnite has been dealing with since day one has been hit detection. To put it simply, many times, our shots don't land where they should, even if our crosshairs are right on the target and they're not moving. Season 1 was the worst because weapons didn't even have the perfect first shot accuracy back then. It was almost impossible to land shots at range. In fact, using a pump shotgun was more effective until Epic Games nerfed the range on them. Seriously, shotgun snipers were a thing in the early days of Fortnite, but we're getting a bit off topic. The weapons in Fortnite have always had inconsistent accuracy and generous bloom, even after the Season 2 perfect first shot accuracy patch. Some weapons have unreliable damage, even when headshots are made, which can get very annoying near the end of the game when every bullet counts. In a fast-paced game like Fortnite, having accurate weapons that are predictable and easy to master is important. Instead, sometimes weapon accuracy could be as random as the loot you find in the game, which isn't a good thing at all. It's a difficult fix for Epic Games, but they're talented people, so we're sure they can get it done. The introduction of limited time modes, known as LTMs for short, was a great idea in Fortnite. Playing solo, duos, or squads can get a bit boring after a while. Well, after a really long while, because Fortnite is so darn addictive. So they started adding some new modes to really switch things up. You know, typical Epic Games stuff. LTMs like Blitz and 50 vs 50 were huge hits, as well as some other more interesting ones like Infinity Gauntlet, which was a crossover to build up anticipation for Avengers Infinity War, and Sword Fight, which uses those pesky Infinity Blades that we're so happy got vaulted. Adding LTMs was an awesome decision, but the rotation of these LTMs could be pretty interesting, and by interesting we mean bad. Popular modes like 50 vs 50 should always be in the game, but they're not. Yet other mediocre LTMs get putting back into the game, like Final Fight. Luckily, the Flora's Lava LTM we just had was really fun, so we hope Epic Games continues to be just as creative moving forward. We'd also love for the Infinity Gauntlet mode to make a comeback with Avengers Endgame hitting theaters soon. That would be amazing. After being around for so long, there are tons of really good Fortnite players in the core game modes. Some would say there's a little too much of these sweaty players with too many X's in their names to count and TTV at the end of it. Many casual players were having trouble enjoying the game because all of these hardcore players. So, Epic Games decided to come up with an arena in patch 8.20, a place for the best of the best to showcase their skills in a more competitive setting. We love that decision because we're amongst those casual players. We've put hundreds of hours into the game and we're still terrible, but hey, enough about us. In the new arena mode, players can rank up after every game, and eventually, if they're good enough, they'll be able to participate in the Fortnite World Cup, which could earn them a minimum of $50,000 US, but it's not that easy to qualify for. You see, in the arena mode, players are pitted against others from each platform, which means PC players will play against console players. Yep, if that's not incredibly unfair, we don't know what is. Keyboard and mouse is always better than a controller. Less and less games are offering single-player offline experiences, and we don't like it very much. A video game should have a single-player, multiplayer, and co-op options. That way everyone could enjoy it, but not Fortnite Battle Royale. In fact, you could only play the game if you have internet access. Luckily, you could play Save the World offline, but let's be honest, does anyone actually have it? It was promised to be free before the end of 2018, and we're a third of the way through 2019, and it's still not free. Sure, it went on sale for half price in February, and we bought it, but we don't think many other players did the same. The game mode is great to get familiar with the game's mechanics, and while it's good fun, it certainly does get boring after a while. Epic Games might want to consider adding a local play mode with friends or even bots. Imagine how fun it'd be to have your very own single-player Battle Royale. It'd be a great way to practice, especially if you can get the bots to higher difficulties. We've been asking for an offline Battle Royale for a while now, and we hope some developer will listen. While we absolutely adore the Nintendo Switch and think it's one of the best and most revolutionary systems of all time, Fortnite isn't the smoothest running game on the console, not by a long shot. Sure, the game is downloaded on 1 out of every 2 Nintendo Switch consoles out there, which is an incredible stat considering millions of them have been sold already, but it's far from optimized for the system. Those who play Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch have noted plenty of issues. From the lag and choppy gameplay to the way textures load, the game just lacks the consistent frame rate and smoothness of its PlayStation 4 or Xbox One counterpart. The Nintendo Switch version is a port, so these kinds of issues are expected. But the fact that they're still around and that the graphics look the same as the mobile version is a bit ridiculous. They make playing Fortnite on the Switch look like it's on the N64 instead, because sometimes these textures still haven't loaded by the time you landed. We weren't lying when we said it was bad. Things have gotten better over the last few seasons, but there's still work to do. We trust Epic Games, they'll figure it out. As amazing as Fortnite is, it didn't get popular just because it's good. It was pushed by some of the most popular streamers out there and used as a way to grow their platform. Just think of Ninja, for example. He was a popular streamer and a solid pro gamer, specifically in the Halo scene before Fortnite, but most of us know him as the most popular Twitch streamer in the world who plays Fortnite for 6 to 8 hours every single day. While having everyone on Twitch and YouTube play Fortnite is great because it increases the popularity of the game, it does come with some consequences. YouTuber culture has drastically affected Fortnite, arguably in a negative way. Every time a new weapon is released, we see tons of videos go up on YouTube just to showcase it, and if a popular YouTuber decides to land at a certain spot to great success, everyone is going to start landing there and populate the spot. Even beyond little things like this, everyone believes they could be the next big Fortnite streamer. We respect all the Twitch streamers with 0 views, and believe you should always follow your dreams, but when it's not meant to be, hey, it's not meant to be. Playing Fortnite is always a fun time, but of course it's more fun with friends. If you don't have friends, Fortnite could be a cruel, cruel world. There's a lack of variety in Fortnite, so it's often quite hard to have a 3 to 4 hour session on your own. Playing solo is great, but playing solo for 4 hours straight is not so great. Sure, you could get into a game of squads, and duos is a great way to make new friends, but some of us are really shy and don't like speaking to randoms much. We're fine with our friends, but randoms, not so much. Our experience with randoms isn't very good either. Of course, you could run into an awesome, nice player who doesn't care if you're the worst Fortnite player he's ever seen. But then you get the 10-year-old kid who dies right away, starts spectating you, starts telling you what to do, and calls you trash right after you're eliminated. We still think about that kid from time to time, and he gave us a good reality check. If we're being honest with ourselves, we are trash. So maybe that was the motivation we needed, to never play with randoms again. Our final entry is kinda related to that 10-year-old kid we just mentioned. He really grinded our gears. But he's only a small part of the greater toxic community. Now, this isn't Epic Games' fault by any means. Any popular and competitive game is going to be chock full of toxic players who make it their life's work to frustrate others, and Fortnite is no exception. In fact, it might be the worst we've ever seen. There are tons of players who have no chill and will roast their teammates for one little, tiny, puny mistake, or just be the most annoying a person could possibly be for no apparent reason. Our favorite is the player who talks mad smack to his own teammates about how he's so much better than them, so he goes rogue, lands at Tilted, gets eliminated right away, calls us all terrible, and leaves. If you're not one of those players, you have our utmost respect for doing your best to not increase the numbers of the toxic Fortnite community. At the end of the day, Fortnite is a free game and it's so much fun. So let's make it fun for everyone, even if they're not very good at the game. And those are some of the things Fortnite players choose to ignore. Do you agree with our list? Do you think we're too hard on Fortnite, or are we taking it easy on them? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more Fortnite videos. Thanks for watching.